Indiana Fever former coach Christie Sides is back in the headlines. Now, Christie Sides really don't be posting like that. Recently, bro, there has been a lot of things going on with the Indiana Fever basketball team online. And Christie Sides, to me, made it her business to tell the world, oh, she's living her best life. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, she is. Oh, she's rubbing it in. She is rubbing it in, guys.
You watch the clip, and at first it doesn't register. The music is light. The smiles are wide, the boots are scootin', but then it hits you. She's laughing. They're losing. The Indiana Fever are collapsing on national television. 3 straight losses. A coaching staff under fire. Stephanie White, dissected by media talking heads like an anatomy class.
So she posted this 13 hours ago, man. Christie Sides stated, boot scooting like we know what we doing. My tribe. And this is her with her homegirls. But she did not just post that one. She posted another one. All my girls. She all smiles, living her best life. Now, Christie Sides don't ever post. And just like I said, guys, she made it her business yesterday.
Every decision, every misstep, blown up and dragged through the digital streets. The team looks lost, injuries stacking, confidence fading. And just when you think the Fever couldn't look more chaotic, Christie Sides posts a photo. She's smiling, like wide, peaceful, glowing. The caption, boot scootin' like we know what we doing. My tribe. A harmless line on its own, but context has its own kind of gravity. You scroll further.
To post all smiles from ear to ear because she know she dodged a headache. Firing her probably was the best thing they could have did for her at this point, bro. Christie Sides is definitely somewhere cheesing, bro, as y'all can see here, dog. I just thought that was the funniest thing ever, bro, that she took time out of her day yesterday to post this on Instagram, dog, to let the world know I am alive, I am good, I'm hanging out with the homegirls, we chilling.
Another post. All my girls. Another smile. Another moment where she's clearly fine. Thriving even. Not coaching, not sweating through post-game pressers, not getting dragged on Reddit threads or compared to her predecessor's ghost. Just dancing, laughing, and in that moment, you feel the weight of it. Not bitterness, not revenge. Something quieter, like a whisper that says,
you know, I bet you a lot of people is apologizing to this lady, bro. And I believe Christie Sides is going to be back working next season, bro. I believe she deserves another head coach, another time to be a head coach again.
You let me go. And I let go of all this. Cut to Fever's recent game clips. Sydney Colson injured. Sophie Cunningham too. Clark already sidelined. Chaos in motion. On the other side of the country, somewhere quiet, Christie Sides is sipping, smiling, sliding out of the mess like it was never hers to begin with. She's not saying a word, but Instagram said enough, and now you start to wonder, is this just a soft flex? Or a silent statement? Was Christie always the problem, or did she escape it? The smile, the timing, the caption, it's all too precise, too poetic. You feel the drama rising. You feel the question forming. Because if she's at peace and they're at war, then maybe she wasn't the villain at all. And that changes everything. You thought cutting her loose would quiet the noise, that removing Christie Sides would press reset on the chaos, a clean break, a fresh era. But that's not how ghosts work. See, you don't bury someone like Sides, you unleash her. She never screamed on the way out. No press tours, no cryptic tweets. No messy post-firing interviews, just silence. And sometimes silence is the loudest answer you can give, because silence leaves space, and space becomes questions. And now those questions are screaming. How do you lose 3 straight games with this much talent? How does the team look this confused without Caitlin Clark, a rookie? Why do these players look more disjointed than before? You rewind the tape. Back to last season. Back when Sides, the rookie head coach, took the blame when things went south. People said she couldn't manage egos, couldn't control the room. couldn't win. So they moved on, said she wasn't ready, that the Fever needed someone with more experience. Enter Stephanie White, former Coach of the Year, legacy ties, a hire with headlines, but headlines don't win games. And now White's system is breaking in real time. The camera cuts to Fever. Fans on Twitter, in one tweet reads, "Did we really fire Sides just to fall apart even faster?" Another, "Christie was the scapegoat. This team's always been broken. And maybe that's the truth you never wanted to face. Maybe it was never about the X's and O's. Maybe this team is just haunted by bad habits, by unspoken tension, by a coach you let walk, who's now smiling like she knew this would happen. She's not bitter. She's not watching games on the edge of her seat. She's living, posting, dancing, and somehow that's the scariest part, because you didn't break her. You freed her, and she's not coming back to fix what you shattered. You wanted pedigree. You wanted someone with a resume. You wanted Stephanie White, Coach of the Year, former WNBA player, familiar name, familiar face, a safe bet on paper. But paper doesn't sweat. Paper doesn't bleed. Paper doesn't coach. And now that paper's on fire. The Fever are unraveling. No Caitlin Clark? Fine. But 3 straight losses, no game plan, no spark, no identity. And this is the coach who was supposed to elevate the team? You scroll through the headlines. They're not kind. White under pressure. Fever can't find rhythm. Stephanie White's system failing without Clark. Some fans dig deeper. Receipts from Vanderbilt float to the surface. Her college coaching record? Not exactly glowing. Others say her stint in Connecticut was overrated, that she coasted on the roster built by Kurt Miller. They had Jonquel Jones, a title, window, but the ring never came. Now history feels like it's repeating. The Fever finally get momentum, a generational rookie, rising ticket sales, national attention, and somehow they're worse. You hear it in the analysts' voices, the hesitation, the careful phrasing. She's still adjusting. It takes time to build chemistry, but the fans aren't buying that. Reddit threads burn. One comment stands out. Clark goes down and the whole house collapses? That's not coaching. That's exposure. And quietly, you feel the echo. Maybe it wasn't Sides. Maybe the issues go deeper. Maybe White wasn't the answer. Maybe she's the question, a legacy in question, a team in freefall, and a former coach who left the wreckage behind. Untouched. Because sometimes when the storm comes, it's not about who built the shelter, it's about who didn't invite the lightning. You were told this team had depth, that this was bigger than just Caitlin Clark. But the moment she went down, everything fell apart. You saw it. No floor spacing, no leadership, no fight. It wasn't just a missing point guard. It was like the soul of the team vanished. They dropped 3 straight games, and not just dropped, crashed. Turnovers, miscommunication, players standing still like they're waiting for a signal that never comes. And the worst part? Nobody stepped up. You look at the stats, and they sting. Kelsey Mitchell, one of the veterans, shooting under 35% in those games. Nalissa Smith, inconsistent at best. The ball movement, gone. The energy, flat. Clark wasn't, just scoring. She was dragging this team into relevance with pure force of will. And without her, the illusion of structure collapsed. Analysts are starting to whisper it louder. This team was built to orbit around Caitlin. Not with her, around her. And that's a problem, because great teams don't rely on one player to hold the entire house together. On social media, the fans don't hold back. She's a rookie and already the glue? This is why the WNBA doesn't get taken seriously. Take Clark out and it's a lottery team. And whether it's fair or not, that's the narrative now. That this franchise banked everything on one player and forgot to build a team. You wonder if Clark feels it too. The weight, the expectation, the burden. Because no matter how talented she is, she can't play all 5 positions. She can't coach. She can't save a system designed to fail the moment she's gone. And as the Fever stumble through another loss, one thing becomes clear. You didn't build a foundation. You built a stage, And when the star exits, there's nothing left but silence and confusion. She didn't say a word. Not a press conference, not a tweet, not a quote to the media, just a post, a smile, a vibe. Christie Sides knew exactly what she was doing. 13 hours ago, while the Fever were still trying to tape together their dignity after yet another embarrassing loss, she was boot scootin', literally. Boot scootin' like we know what we doing, she wrote. A caption soaked in Southern sarcasm, a laugh without the sound, a roast without the fire. You look at the photos, her with her crew, matching outfits, cowboy boots, grinning like a weight's been lifted. She never posts like this, not lately, not when the storm was still circling her name. But now she's all smiles. The timing wasn't just suspicious, it was surgical. It felt intentional. The team that fired her is in flames, and she's out there line dancing on the ashes. The fans caught it too. One comment, she cheesin' like she knew this was gonna happen. Another, petty level, Hall of Fame. Instagram became a courtroom. The verdict? Shade. Guilty as posted. But this isn't just about pettiness, it's about vindication. Sides was blamed for the Fever's failures last season. She was the problem, they said. The barrier, the ceiling. But now that she's gone, the team looks worse. And that silence, that smile, it's not just joy. It's relief. It's release. It's the face of someone who watched the storm pass and walked away dry. You start to wonder, was she the problem or the scapegoat? Because right now, the only coach not losing games in Indiana is the one dancing in boots and blessings you were told she was the answer. The seasoned leader. The coach with a plan. But now, the receipts are everywhere, and they're not pretty. Before the Fever, Stephanie White was at Vanderbilt. And that experiment? A 3-year spiral with a 46-83 record. No tournament appearances, no signature. Wins, just noise. But the pitch was always the same. She once coached a finals team. She's been to the big stage, and that's technically true. In 2015, she led the Indiana Fever to the WNBA finals. But even then, some were whispering. Was that her team? Or was it Tamika Catching's team? And when she moved to Connecticut, people assumed she was building something new. But if you look closer, that Sun roster, it was a Kurt Miller production. Jonquel Jones, Alyssa Thomas, Dewana Bonner, all assembled before White stepped in. A ship she was handed, not one she built. So now, back in Indiana, with Caitlin Clark as the face of the franchise and expectations as high as the Gainbridge Fieldhouse ceiling, she's being asked to prove something she's never truly had. Can she build a winning culture? Not just ride one, because these losses aren't just stacking up, they're exposing cracks. One fan wrote, another, she got the job because of Clark. Period. And while that might be harsh, it's not completely wrong. This league doesn't do fairy tales. There are no handouts, no lucky breaks that last, just wins or whispers. And right now, Stephanie White is running out of silence to hide behind. Every game is another receipt, every loss is another flashback, and every moment Clark sits, the truth gets louder. You can't fake greatness. You either build it, or it breaks you. You thought it couldn't get worse. Then it did. Not just losses on the scoreboard, but bodies, pain, confusion, silence. In one brutal night, the Fever didn't just lose again. They lost Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson. 2 players down. 1 game. No Caitlin Clark, no momentum, no answer. It's like watching a house crumble brick by brick, and instead of a plan, you get a pause. Instead of urgency, you get press. Conference cliches. This isn't just about a bad stretch. This is about a team that looks like it doesn't know how to breathe without its star. And that's the most dangerous truth of all. Because in the WNBA, it's not just about stars, it's about systems, depth, preparation. And right now, Indiana feels like they've got none of it. Fans aren't even angry anymore. They're numb. One Reddit comment said, I've never seen a team rely this heavily on a rookie to be its spine. Another tweet went viral with 4 words, "No Caitlin, no hope." And here's the thing, they're not wrong. Losing Clark shouldn't cause this level of collapse. This isn't a sprained ankle crisis. It's an identity meltdown. Who are the Indiana Fever when their prodigy isn't on the court? The answer? Scattered, injured, overwhelmed, and maybe not ready. You feel it now. The weight of coaching choices, the fragility of confidence, the ghosts of last season creeping back through the cracks. This team was supposed to be different. More than just the Caitlin show. More than just a media hype train. But now, they're not just losing games, they're losing players, losing trust, and maybe losing the room. And while all this unfolded, the injuries, the L's, the chaos, she smiled. Not just any smile. That smile. The "I told you so" without saying a word. Christie Sides didn't need a press conference. She had Instagram, one post. Boot scootin' like we know what we doing. Another, "All my girls." Hashtag, unbothered. You can feel it, right? Not bitterness, not rage, but something colder, cooler, pettier. She never posts like this. Barely active. But this week? Oh, she had time. The same week Indiana loses 3 straight. The same week players start dropping. The same week fans start questioning Stephanie White's every timeout, every rotation, every quote. Christie Sides is out with her tribe, grinning ear to ear. Not in a coach's huddle, but in peace. And that silence is loud, because whether you think she was a good coach or not, you know this wasn't just a random photo dump. This was a message, a vibe check, a subtle tap on the mic saying, "I'm still here." One comment summed it up perfectly. Christie saw the dumpster fire from afar and poured a mimosa. Another tweet with a pic of her smiling. Christie Sides watching Stephanie White fold like laundry. It's internet gold, but under the memes is a real question. Was firing her a mistake? Did Indiana move too fast? Or not fast enough? Because if she was the problem, why does the problem still look worse without her? You start to wonder now. Maybe she wasn't the issue. Maybe the Fever never fixed what was broken. And now, while the pieces scatter, Christie Sides is just dancing in the ruins, boots on, smiling. This is where it gets uncomfortable because it's easy to blame one coach. To circle Stephanie White's name in red ink, to dig up Vanderbilt's stats, Connecticut ghosts, and every substitution that didn't work. It's even easier to laugh with Christie Sides as she waltzes through the wreckage. But that's not the full story, is it? Because when you stand in the ashes of a crumbling franchise, you have to ask, who lit the match? This isn't just about one coach failing, it's about a system that's been broken for years. A front office that handed Caitlin Clark the keys to a car with no engine. A roster built for marketability, not stability. A culture chasing headlines instead of chemistry. You, watching from the outside, see the cracks they tried to paint over. You remember last season, and the one before that. The losing didn't start with Stephanie White, and it won't end when she's gone. Fans have been pleading for structure, for direction, for someone to take accountability. Instead, they got slogans, draft picks, smoke screens, and now with the season slipping away one injury, one loss, one awkward quote at a time, the Fever are stuck holding a mirror. Because if they look close enough, they'll see it was never just about coaching. It's about ego. About failing to rebuild. About chasing hype instead of healing. And maybe Christie Sides knew that. Maybe that's why she's smiling. Not because she won, but because she walked away from something that never figured out how to fix itself. You can fire a coach. You can bench a star. But until you change what's underneath, you're just rearranging a sinking ship. And the Fever? They've been sinking for a while. You look at the scoreboard and think it tells the whole story. Wins, losses, another season slipping through fingers like loose thread. But the real numbers? They're the ones you can't chart. The frustration, bubbling in locker rooms. The sighs behind press conference smiles, the long glances from the bench as the clock winds down again. And somewhere off camera, Christie Sides sips something cold, laughing with her tribe. Not vindictive, not loud. Just free. Because sometimes peace does look petty. Sometimes the softest exit hurts the most. And sometimes the loudest message is posted in silence. No captions needed. The WNBA isn't just a league of systems and stats, it's a league of narratives. And in this chapter, the irony writes itself. The coach you let go is thriving, while the team you tried to fix is falling apart. This isn't a scandal. This is a moment of clarity. A reminder that rebuilding takes more than a draft pick and a promo reel. It takes vision, accountability, and a little bit of grace. Right now, the Fever have none of that. But you, watching this, you saw the whole thing unfold. You saw the smile. You felt the shift. You caught the petty poetry of it all. So now, the question isn't whether Christie Sides will coach again. She will. The question is, will Indiana finally learn how to stop being the story and start writing a new one? If you felt that shift, comment, "I saw it happen too." Your words are part of the story now.